was unrest that was going on. And when that happens to you and it's at your doorstep, it's one thing to see it on TV. It's one thing to see it 10 or 20 miles away. But when it's 2 blocks away from your house, it's a wholly different experience. And for me, that was a turning point. That's when it was like, okay, I need to do something about this. The reason why is because I was a big guy at the time. I'm about 200 pounds. Like you said, I'm 6'3". I work out. I was always told you look really intimidating. Not that I wanted to look intimidating.
Right.
But what I found for myself is that I knew deep down in that situation that if somebody were to come at me or somebody were to approach me and have not good intentions, I didn't know what to do.
Right. Okay.
I didn't know how to defend myself. I didn't even know what to do.
Yeah.
And honestly, that fear of not knowing what to do woke me up. And I said to myself, enough is enough. I need to do something about this.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Real Talks Podcast. I have a great pleasure of interviewing somebody who is part of our 10X community, and I'll have him introduce himself, but he's definitely like you and I, if you're watching this and you're an entrepreneur and a business owner. So he is the same way, but I'd like to have him introduce himself, obviously, and talk about, his industry, his niche, and how he helped others as well. But our very special guest for this episode is Tyler Zolinger. Tyler, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Jay, how are you?
I'm good, my friend. It's definitely a great pleasure to have you here on the podcast, and then share your stories. And for the people who don't know who you are, we'll obviously share your other social media channels and your accounts when this episode gets published. But please introduce yourself and how you and what you do to help others.
Sure. So first of all, thank you so much for having me, and I really enjoyed listening and being able to understand your podcast a little bit more and what you're all about. And it's so great to be able to talk to other entrepreneurs.
Absolutely,
because I feel like we're all in the same boat as far as with our business, whether it's our own business or we're working to bring a culture together and a community. And so I really appreciate not only this opportunity, but also being able to work with you too as well.
Yeah, thank you, man. I feel exactly the same way. And Tyler, tell us about your business. I know it's very important. I personally would be very interested to learn. I'm very excited to have you speak on it and dive deeper into what you do.
Yeah, thank you again. So I actually help teens and college kids who are struggling with feeling small and distracted, being able to self-protect themselves.
Wow.
So you as a parent can be able to sleep at night.
Yes. I mean, I'm a parent for sure. And
cool.
Yeah. So I do have a boy and a girl, excuse me. And my son is, he's still, he just became a freshman, first year high school student. And, it's a lot different in high school, but he's been doing Muay Thai, things like that to get him in shape, but at the same time help with his mindset and also, for protection, not necessarily self-defense in a way, but just in general. But I do have a daughter who's now a senior in high school, and she's going to be off to college. And for me as a parent, for sure, kind of like what you just said.
Wait. Did you say you have a senior?
I have a senior.
In college?
No. High school. Who's going to be in college next year?
Oh, okay. Got it. I was going to say,
So for me,
I was going to say, man, dude,
you look young, right?
Oh my goodness. I'm at that. I don't have kids of my own.
Yeah.
I have a dog. I love my dog. I'm a dog dad.
Yeah, me too.
But I have 23 nieces and nephews, and,
wow.
And even the people that I work with in the community, I worked with dozens of different people from different backgrounds, and I feel like I'm a big brother to everybody.
Yeah. I mean,
even though I actually was small growing up, so it's
wow. Well, Well, let's touch on that. But I was going to say, yeah, no, my daughter is going to be off to college. And for me as a parent, it's going to give me peace of mind if my
Yeah,
daughter would know how to defend herself if
yeah, of
it happens, if she has to, right? If she had to.
course.
But yeah, so how did that really like grow legs for you? Like how did prior to being a having a business for like self defense and you being an instructor, like how did that grow legs? Like tell us all about that.
Yeah, honestly, this was something I stumbled upon.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't something I was looking for, or even to start a career in it in
Wow.
general.
Yeah.
And if anything, I was first of all, I was a small kid growing up.
Yeah.
I was bullied a lot,
Mm.
and I was targeted even by bad people. Um,
Yeah.
and even some of that came from my brothers and sisters.
Wow. And
I'm the youngest of 8 kids,
that's
and
awesome.
um, it just looking back on it now, I realize that I'm doing this today
Yeah.
because I wish I could have gone back in time
Mm.
and said, "Hey, Tyler, when you were this age, these are the three things I want you to focus on.
Yeah.
And if you do these three things, it's going to make your life so much easier than
Mm.
what you think
Yeah.
it's going to be like in the future." Um, I was naturally good at sports. I was a good kid. I didn't get into a lot of trouble, um, but I always knew in the back of my mind that I wanted to learn some sort of martial arts. I
Yeah.
was small. I
Mm.
wasn't very big. And so, in that respect, I always felt like I was always one step behind. I was always having to defend myself in some way. And I learned for myself that, especially being an adult now and
Yeah.
teaching this to other people, that we can take our traumas and we can take things that have happened to us in our past
Yeah.
and we can help people because we've gone through those situations.
Mm.
And I
Yeah.
really
I
believe,
agree.
I really believe that sometimes God allows us to go through those type of experiences
Yeah.
because He knows the impact we can make for other people. As hard as it was at the time, going through those things and never feeling like I would ever get out of these situations,
Yeah.
I always talked my way out of it. I never got in any fights. Except for one, when I
Mm.
was 12
Wow.
years old. But it taught me, first of all, you can be a peacemaker, but you can be a peacemaker, but still be able to show people that you're
Yeah.
not somebody that can just be walked all over.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, no, absolutely agree. And I know you mentioned, for our people that who have not met you in person or whatnot, just for clarity, guys, Tyler is, I think, I met him in person, right, at one of our 10X events. But you are very tall for the most part. You're about what 6'2", 6'3".
Six two and a
So
half. I'm
yeah,
sitting
so
six
I
three.
mean, you're
Yeah,
you're you're not a small man anymore. So you might have been a late, I guess, bloomer. I don't know when you got your growth spurt, but probably
yeah,
like late in high school. But yeah, you're a very tall individual now. I mean, but but obviously, this is still important, right? To really know how to defend yourself. I was gonna ask. So before you became an instructor or having your own business, right? What were you doing then?
yeah. So, like I said, I stumbled upon this.
Yeah,
So again, I told you a little bit about me as a kid and
yeah,
where
right.
this took me to. And so Um, I was a professional in the medical device field. I was a product manager. I loved what I did.
Yeah,
I was in surgery with different surgeons, and I worked
yeah.
with different concept to market releases as a product manager. I loved what I was doing, and then COVID hit,
Hmm.
just like a lot of people, turned our lives upside down.
Yeah,
And there was unrest that was going on during that time. At the time, I was living in Dallas. I live in Florida now, and uh, there was unrest that was going on, and when that happens to you and it's at your doorstep, it's one thing to see it on TV. It's one thing to see it
happening
10 or 20 miles away, but when it's 2 blocks away from your house, it's a wholly different experience. And for me, that was a turning point. That's when it was like, okay, I need to do something about this. And the reason why is because I was a big guy at the time. I'm about 200 pounds. Like you said, I'm 6'3". I work out. I was always told you look really intimidating. Not that I wanted to look intimidating.
Right.
But what I found for myself is that I knew deep down in that situation that if somebody were to come at me or somebody were to approach me and have not good intentions, I didn't know what to do.
Right. Okay.
I didn't know how to defend myself. I didn't even know what to do in those situations.
Yeah.
And honestly, that fear of not knowing what to do woke me up. And I said to myself, enough is enough. I need to do something about this. So I always knew I wanted to do some sort of karate or like jujitsu or Muay Thai or something in that effect. But I wanted it to be more like real world. And I even said that in my head. I want it to be more real world. Like how can I just defend myself?
Right.
I don't want to do this for competition. I don't want to get into a ring with somebody. I want to know. And that's when I stumbled upon Krav Maga. And I did some research on it. And yeah, please.
No, yeah. So could you pronounce that again? Because I'm not particularly familiar with that practice.
Of course.
And I'm sure our viewers and listeners would also like to know if they're not familiar with it.
Yeah. So Krav Maga is Israeli U.S. military self-defense.
Okay.
And it was really designed for everyday people that wanted to be able. It's really designed for everybody so that they can know how to defend themselves on the street. Emi, the founder of Krav Maga, he was Jewish, and he was targeted by Nazi gangs. And he was a small guy. He wasn't a big guy. He was very small. And he even said, I needed to know how to be able to either fight or run in those situations. So he knew he either needed to fight or run. And so for him, it was all about fight or run, fight or run, fight or run. When I got into Krav Maga, and because I didn't come from a martial arts background. I never had parents that had done this. Like my mentor, who was born into this, and been doing it since he was in diapers.
Wow.
I've been doing this since I was in my late 30s, and now in my 40s, and being able to see the evolution of that, to be able to say it, fight or run. But you know what? There's actually a third, and that's where I came up with this concept of what happens when you freeze. And that's where
it happens.
That's where I started to realize for myself when I was practicing and doing these things, I was freezing in a lot of these situations. I wasn't moving. I wasn't learning to run. I was freezing. And so from me doing this myself and me finding this and seeing this from other people, this is where my marketing mind starts to work. And this is where I start to think is like, how do I make this better for the average day person? And so, again, I stumbled upon this. I was laid off from my job while I was in Dallas. I loved what I was doing, and I loved the people I was serving. So I knew I needed to find a way to get out of my head. So I began just posting videos online.
Nice.
And I moved to Orlando, and from there, there's a Krav Maga presence in Dallas itself, and there's a community there. Krav Maga doesn't have a big community here in Orlando.
Gotcha.
And so some of them do some sort of martial arts, but they mix it.
Yeah.
And what I was taught and how I was trained, there was nothing like that here for me to personally be able to train.
Nice.
So I started putting videos out there just online, on social media. I was trying to attract people who knew Krav Maga.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, great
And
place.
then,
Great place to market for sure. Yeah.
no, and
Social
that's the
media.
thing is social media. And it wasn't even like I was marketing myself. I was just saying, hey, I'm going to put these videos out here, and maybe somebody might be like, wow, you do Krav Maga too? Let's get together. And
Gotcha.
that was my mindset, honestly.
At the time, yeah.
At the time. I just wanted somebody to train with. I wanted to keep my training up because I was going six times a week, 3 times a day.
You were
while
there.
While I was in Dallas. Yeah, because I had the time to do it. I needed something to get out of my head.
Dude, that's dedication. 6 times a day. It's like, going to the gym 6 times a day, but this would be probably
Sorry, 6 times a week.
I mean, 6 times a week. Yeah.
6 times a week,
that's
3 times a day.
Yeah. That's a lot of dedication. That's cool. That's very cool. And so, please continue on.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, so where that brought me to was after I posted these videos, and I was looking for somebody to train with. The club shooting, the nightclub shooting that occurred, the Club Q shooting that occurred in Colorado.
Yeah, I remember that.
Had just happened.
Yeah,
and I remember, especially here in Orlando, with what happened with Pulse and the shooting that occurred, people started to like get those feelings again, and those traumas started coming up, and so it was a big deal, especially here in Orlando. And then, out of the blue, I get a message from News 6 Orlando, one of the biggest news organizations here in Orlando, from a producer asking me questions about self-defense and if people are taking it seriously now or taking classes. And I remember a quote that when opportunity knocks, you can either shut the door or walk straight in.
True.
And I walked straight in. I said, you know what? I'm not an instructor here, but I know this stuff enough to be able to answer these questions.
Yeah.
And I must have done something right because they asked me to be on TV.
That's so cool.
And they asked me to talk a little bit more about it, how to be able to defend yourself in those situations.
That's so amazing. And for our listeners and our viewers, if you're not picking this up, which I just did. So he started creating content, Tyler, right? And just to find a community locally in Orlando, Florida. And 2 things, obviously, I'm sure that content creation guy basically brought this new opportunity in front of you. Like the local news channel reached out to you did they find you from your content?
Yes.
Dude, that's so cool. That's why we do what we do, man. There's gonna be people who may or is gonna need to hear about your story or what you do, what's your skill set and everything else. And obviously you did something right. You got invited, and that's amazing. So please go ahead and continue.
Yeah, I mean, one vein I want to talk about that, Jay, is for the listeners that are out there, you do not have to have perfect content. And I know there's people out there that have perfect content.
Right.
They look badass. They look like they're professional at this.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things of why I believe I've been growing is people say to me on my videos, that doesn't look like that works. That person looks stupid. That person doesn't even have good form. And I get this a lot from people that have an MMA background.
Yeah.
People that have a martial arts background. They don't understand the way that I'm presenting myself. They think it looks sloppy. They think I'm showing people in their weakness.
Yeah.
And that's why I believe I'm growing.
Yeah.
Is because I'm showing content that's not out there.
No,
I'm
it's not.
showing someone that's a
Yeah.
high school student or a college student who just started working with me one-on-one,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to make that really clear. I do that on purpose
Yeah.
because I want to send a message. You don't have to be perfect at this
Right.
to be able, on day one, to be able to know how to defend yourself if somebody comes at you.
Yeah. Yeah. And but you know, kind of what you said, like just people when you started creating content, putting yourself out there, and you weren't even an instructor at the time, probably, right? You just I don't know if there's you're getting
I
people.
had one client at the time
Yeah.
who was going through a bad divorce, and they
Mm.
needed
An
help.
outlet. Yeah.
They needed an outlet. They needed help. I'm not.
Yeah. But I was gonna
But
say, like, even with the negative criticism online feedback, it's still I guess I would say it's still some way that's attracting people, good or bad, into your channel, into your account. So in return, we get rewarded. Social media will keep pushing that content, to get seen by people because it's causing conversations, or you know what I mean, stuff like that. So that's I mean, nonetheless, it's pretty cool. Good media, bad media is still media, publicity. And yeah, that's cool though. That's cool. You got invited onto the channel. I saw that actually on your Facebook profile. That a clip, or not a clip necessarily, but a screenshot of the interview, which is pretty cool.
yeah, it's on my banner.
Yeah, your banner. That's right. Yeah,
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 I mean, I keep that there to even just remind myself what's happened since
you're right.
that point. That was like a turning point
Yeah.
where I said to myself, I can either close this door right now, and
Mm-hmm.
I can say, you know what, I'm not the person for you to talk to. I'm not an instructor. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
have the expertise. I
Uh
don't.
huh.
You don't need expertise to
Right.
show value to people.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
And that experience alone, I I walked through that door, and ever since I've walked through that door, look, at the end of the day, my classes and the way that I teach, it's not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I even tell that to parents when they call me up saying, my teen or is going from a is going from a junior high of 500 students. Now they're going to 2,500 students with metal
Wow.
detectors. They're freaking out. They don't know
Yeah.
what to do, but yet they say they're obviously looking online. They're
Mm.
looking for answers, and they're
Yeah.
coming to somebody asking them to answer those questions.
Mm.
And the
Yeah.
first thing I say to them is, look, yes, I've been on TV. Yes, I've been able to showcase what I can do. But I just want you to know I'm not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
If you want someone that's a black belt, if you
Yeah.
want somebody who can show your kids, gun defense, knife defense, all the way from the beginning, have at it. There are
Mm-hmm.
people out there, and I can point you in the right direction. But if you want somebody that has practiced the basics over and over and spent, I'm talking thousands of hours I've put into doing this.
Yeah.
I painstakingly have learned the basics over and over and over again, because once I've had that foundation,
Yeah.
honestly, to get out of a situation safely, that's all you might need.
Right. True.
Because not everybody wants to come to this on a regular basis. They don't want to come six days a week, 3 times a day.
True.
They may only have time in their schedule to come once or twice a week, or
Yeah.
whatever that might look like, as long as it's consistent. Because over time, you need to build that muscle memory.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like reading a book. It's like riding a bike.
Right.
Um, if we don't continue to keep practicing these things, and that's what I tell my clients, and that's what I tell a lot of parents,
Yeah.
is look, you can put your kids into this for my 8-week program, but let's keep at it every
Mm-hmm.
week after that, or every
Yeah.
other week at least. And what I find is they just want answers now because they can't sleep at night. because their kid is now going to college, and they're thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I'm now a parent that my kid has been living in my house, under my roof, under my safety.
Yeah.
Now I'm letting them go to college and I can't look after them anymore.
Right.
Those are the type of people that are calling me. Those are the type of people that are really reaching out to me and saying, hey, my kid's going, and it's usually right before school starts. And then I've learned to nurture them through that time. Now I have clients that I've been working with the longest time. I worked with him and his son.
Yeah.
He's a football player in college.
Yeah.
And I work with him every single week, him and his son.
Wow.
Every single week for the last over almost 2.5 years.
That's so cool, man. And I was going to tell you, or I was going to ask, did that exposure with Channel 6 give you a lot of like I guess free marketing for your brand? In essence, did that cause a lot more people to reach out to you, or how did that work out? Or
I think it was more so after the fact that I could be able to say, hey, I've been on Channel 6 News. Hey, I've been able to partner with these organizations. I've been able to partner with Orlando Mom Collective. I've been able to partner with human trafficking organizations. I've been able to I've been able to be on TV with YouFit gyms to be able to promote a self-defense class when that girl was attacked at her apartment gym in Tampa. Everybody remembers that.
Wow.
Most recently, I've just partnered with Florida Blue, one of the largest healthcare and community providers here in Florida. I just partnered with them. Tyler.
Yeah.
And I'm able to provide now self-defense classes and self-protection classes right on there. But now I feel called to speak, which is why I got involved with being more on these podcasts and speaking more. I want to reach an audience that's out there. It may not be the 30% that have done self-defense classes before, karate, Muay Thai. Hey, you know what? There's black belts out there for that.
Yeah.
And I always tell them, you know what? Maybe my classes aren't for you, but there's 70% of teens and college kids that have never done this before.
100%. Yeah.
And then when they get into adulthood, still don't continue to do this.
Right.
So I want to reach that 70%. I want to reach the ones, and now I've come up with a way not only to talk about the basics of how to self-defend yourself when somebody makes contact with you, but now I've been able to turn that into how can somebody defend themselves in 30 seconds when somebody's approaching them that they don't even know who they are. Gotcha. Those are the type of videos. I'm actually doing an online course now that talks about specifically about how to be able to do that. But first, I want to be able to help those teens and college kids. They're feeling small. They don't know what to do. They're distracted.
Yeah.
So I think to myself, what would I have wanted back when I was their age that I believe would have helped? And I vetted this out, and I talked to their parents. I mean, that's one thing. You don't just say, "Oh, this was so good for me. I'm gonna do this." You got to vet it out. You got to ask your clients.
Right. Yeah.
You got to say, "Hey, is this something you want or need?" Or and they say yes. And I put this now into my classes, and that's why I believe I partnered now with Florida Blue. We started with one class, and now we're in all of the greater Orlando area because of this one simple formula that I've come up with.
That is very, very cool, man. Tyler, quick question. With your coaching, packages, is it all in person, or can somebody, let's say, who's watching this now and who's interested to learn about self-defense, other than watching your free videos on, I don't know, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, can they work with you? Let's say I know you're in Orlando, Florida, but let's say they're here in San Jose, California. Can they work with you and virtually?
100%.
Oh, okay, cool.
And this is the reason why. Self-defense, that's why these classes since COVID have gotten larger is because, they have level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, 5 classes, and they structure it that way. For me to be able to show this online, during COVID, I tried to go to a self-defense class online instead of being in person, because at the time, there was COVID going on, and
restrictions.
We had COVID, you couldn't go to in-person classes. So I had to do it virtually. I got zero out of it. It was so hard to follow, and I had even already been in classes for like 3 or 4 months. And I still had a hard time following it online, because this isn't something you can just say, okay, everybody, virtually, this is the class, you can watch it, you can see it, and follow along. I've been able to take basic understanding that, hey, if a stranger's approaching you, let's go over this. Let me show you. So I'm not just talking to you, I'm showing it to you as well.
I see. Gotcha. Cool.
So you're getting not only value out of not just, hey, let's talk about self-awareness. Let's talk about not having your headphones in when you're in school. If I'm talking to their teen and I'm doing a one-on-one, or if I'm talking to the parent, I'm saying, hey, let's get off our chair right now and let me show you. A stranger's approaching you. What do you do? And there's three main things that I talk about: breathing, showing a defensive stance, and putting your hands up. If you can do that in person and show it in 30 seconds, you can show it online. And that's why I've turned it into that. So yes, so to answer your question, I do one-on-ones, online, in person, group classes, in person, and also online as well. So I can reach that audience that, hey, if you want to be able to know how to self-protect yourself without contact, by the way, this is without contact.
Oh, cool,
and people
man.
are always saying to themselves, wait a minute, what do you mean without contact?
Right.
And I say, it's possible. Again, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
So a stranger walks up to you, you don't know this person, right? Does that mean they're a good or bad person?
Who knows? Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know.
Right.
So it might be just somebody wanting to come up to you, talk to you, especially at school. They might think you're cute. They might want to just talk to you. So we don't necessarily have to be on our guard and be like, nope, not going to talk to this person, put my head down and just walk away. Yeah. We can put ourselves in a situation that's like, hey, this person's approaching me. I don't know if it's a good or bad person, but I personally am going to move in a direction that's going to keep me in a strong place and also safe at the same time.
Gotcha.
And people say to me, I just had a class where I was showing this and somebody says, that just seems extreme. That just seems like a lot. I said, you're right, it is. I said, but we live in a world and time when self-protection and self-defense is essential. It's no longer an option. 83% of women have reported being harassed sometime in their life. 43% of men have reported being harassed sometime in their life.
Yeah.
83% of women, 43% of men.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Those are high numbers.
Yeah.
So when somebody says to me, I always smile and I say, you're right, it is extreme. But we live in an upside down, crazy world.
Right.
And it's crazy I even have to share this with you or teach you how to do this. But would you rather keep yourself safe and go home safe, or make the point and brush that person or nudge them?
Yeah.
No, what's your goal? Are you trying to make a point, or are you trying to get home safe?
Right. I agree. Very, very cool, man.
So to be able to do that helps people to see, you know what? I don't have to be an expert at this. And that's why I want to increase my reach by doing this online.
Right.
Which is why I came out with the course too as well. That's an option. But I have my free videos as well. I have my free videos that shows in 60 seconds. Yeah. Sorry, 30 seconds how to be able to self-protect yourself. Dude, it's free content that's out there.
Yeah. So do you post on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube? I'm assuming those are the top three,
Yeah.
obviously this. What are the other channels do you use to market your particular business? Because I mean, self defense and what you do is very very niche, right? It's only going to be a specific of people that are going to be interested in that. But do you do any other source of marketing other than creating content? I feel personally, for somebody who's you know a smaller business entrepreneur, I feel strongly content marketing is the best way to put yourself out there and get seen by people. Like, but what do you personally do to increase brand awareness for your business?
Honestly, I just make sure that I am on the top of the Google search engines first of all with my website,
SEO.
but
Okay, cool.
with SEO. But
Yeah,
honestly, most people are just Googling me and then they're looking at my 5-star review.
gotcha.
They're
Yeah,
not
and
even
that.
honestly going to my website most of the time. They're not even
Yeah,
finding me on social media.
yeah.
Most of the
Oh,
time, they're
wow.
just Googling self
Like
defense
so the
classes near me, or they're
wow.
typing in self defense Orlando,
Yeah,
maybe Krav Maga Orlando. That's how
yeah.
people are finding me.
Oh, dope.
So
Yeah,
that's a great way to find me, which is why I want to increase my reach so that I can reach people outside of just Orlando,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so people can be able to say, "Oh, wow, this guy shows you how to be able to self protect yourself,
Right,
and he does it online."
right.
And they're almost thinking to themselves, "Wow, they're curious. They're like, how
Right,
is that even possible?" Because most people think in a self defense setting, "Oh, it's too complicated. Oh, that's
yeah,
too aggressive."
right, yeah.
Now I can be able to show that one on one in a conversation as well as showing it.
That's
Um,
cool. I'm glad, like you leveraging our technology now, where you don't necessarily just to have to do the in person,
yeah,
and you can do it virtually. And like for me, our coaching program um, is all virtual. So, just like this, like you and I in the same channel on a Zoom call or a Google call, but we're able to deliver our services and teach and mentor others, in their businesses. So I'm glad that even with the self defense type of niche, you're not strictly limited in just the in person. So that's pretty cool that you're able to do it virtually as well, man. Um, Follow on question, Tyler. Like for you, I know we attended 10x stages not too long ago. Tell me, like, how did you find out about the 10x stages workshop? Was it through paid ads, and or is it because they were promoting the America's greatest speak out challenge, or how did
yeah,
you get
yeah,
around
yeah.
to it?
I actually got to the second round
Yeah.
with the American Speak Off, and
Oh, cool.
so that's where it started, and
Oh,
then
okay.
that's where they were talking about the 10x stages and
Yeah.
being able to take that to the next level. And I was like, you know what, this is something I need for my business. This is a way
Yeah.
for me to grow
Yeah.
and get to the right audience, and it just seemed like it fit properly.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice.
and I started to realize that stages really, like, you can own other people's stages,
Right. Just like this.
and
Just like this
yeah,
setting.
like
Yeah.
this. And it's provided me a unique opportunity to use my marketing skills
Hmm.
and what I have a background doing, and
Right.
now be able to make more partnerships, get more in the community, and I'm not afraid anymore because
Yeah.
I I may not be a black belt, but
Hmm.
I have worked with enough people to understand how this
Right.
all works and
Yeah.
what people really want and need at this time in their life.
Yeah.
And that's just so that their kids can go home and be safe. They
I
don't
love that.
want them to know how to be a black belt and to be a
Hmm.
ninja on the streets. Most people
Right.
don't want that. They just
Right.
want to be able to know, if this person is approaching me,
Hmm.
what do I do in this situation? How do I keep myself safe? Then you're already in a position of strength from self protection and
Right.
contactlessly. Then, if somebody comes back towards you and they are a bad person, and they do grab you or they put their hands on you, you're already in a position of strength. It's no
cool.
longer any more reactive.
Yeah. Very
So
cool.
that's why I believe this is like a precursor to people who've done self-defense or done other martial arts. Now you can be able to self-protect yourself without contact and do it in a way to keep yourself safe so you can go home. But then, like I said, if somebody's coming at you, that's a whole nother course. That's a whole nother discussion that we need to have.
Yeah, for sure, man. Tyler, I want to ask, like, for people that are wanting to get in contact with you,
Yeah,
could you share your Instagram or TikTok, and then also your website, just in case they want to reach out and learn more about your services as well?
of course. I mean, I should have had this all ready to go. I should have wrote it down.
No worries. No,
Um,
yeah.
but you can just be able to go to Krav Maga O-Town,
Mm-hmm.
either .com. Same thing with social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Or you can just send me an email, tyler@kravmagaotown.com,
Nice.
and let's have a conversation and see
There
if
you go.
this is something that can help you or your kids, or in general, if
Yeah.
you're feeling small. If your kids are feeling small and distracted, let's have a conversation and see if it's something
Yeah.
that we
Very
can help
cool.
them out with.
Awesome. Awesome. And then lastly, for somebody that should, personally, I think a lot of us should look into this for sure. But for somebody that's in the fence on, like, all right, learning or wanting to invest in self-defense classes, courses, that that have not pulled that trigger yet, like, if you're speaking to them right now, like, what would you tell them?
Can I show you real quick?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let's do
So
it.
I know I'm kind of on here.
Yeah.
I'm wired, which is
Yeah.
what I want to show. You can't really see my feet. I wish you could see my feet right
Yeah.
now. But let's just imagine the strangers approaching you.
Uh-huh.
So as they're approaching you, a lot of times we let people just stay right in front of us.
Right.
We just want to step to the side, put your hands out like this, and a defensive stance.
Uh-huh. Like that.
That's it.
Okay.
Then if they're approaching you, one other thing is not just keep your hands out,
Yeah.
but I want to be able to be on the ball of my foot,
Okay.
and I want to speak to them. Hey, can I help you? Hey,
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
need something? If it's getting a little bit more escalated and they're coming straight at me, it's like, whoa, get back.
Yeah. Yeah.
People say, hey, why am I doing those three things? Three reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
One, it's sending a message to the person
Yeah.
that's coming at you. Hey, you're in my space.
Right.
You need to remove yourself from my space.
Yeah.
Second, it sends a message to the world. There's something wrong going on here. People are going to start taking out their phones. They're going to watch.
Yeah.
This does not show that I am an aggressive person.
Right.
You're putting your hands out.
Yeah.
The other thing is breathing, and being able to breathe out also sends a signal to my brain. I got to move. I got to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Because we get in our head. If I were to approach you right now, most people climb up.
Right.
And they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So again, if somebody's approaching you, step to the side, put your hands out, and speak up. That's what I show people. But I show it in a way that helps them to understand, okay, I can do that now, Tyler.
Yeah.
Now I need to practice it. Now I need to know why I'm doing it. What are the situations that are involved with that? But that's as simple as it is.
Nice. Cool. Well, guys and gals, if you're watching this, you got to see Tyler give you a little bit of a demonstration. For the people that's listening, you're going to have to watch the video on YouTube or on our Instagram account to see exactly that. But nonetheless, man, you got a lot of knowledge, Tyler. I feel like you can definitely help a lot of people out, not only in your local area, but I mean, literally with the technologies that we have, not only in the United States, it could be around the world as well. So if you guys want to learn about Tyler's background, how he helps others in self-defense for your family, for yourself, for your kids, definitely reach out to him. This episode has been great. I learned a lot about, self-defense and things that, can help by learning how to protect yourself and everything else. So Tyler, I appreciate you being on the episode, man. I'm looking forward to connecting with you in other social media platforms and actually learning and watching you. And looking forward to continue to see your business growth. And that would be so cool to just see you to be one of the biggest instructors out there, not only here in the US, but all over the place, all over the world. But thank you for joining us, Tyler. And if our viewers that are watching and listening, if you found value in this particular episode with Real Talks, please like, comment, and subscribe. Show us some support. It would mean so much to the channel. And until next time, we'll see you again. Take care.